we're going to watch this video in a bit. I'm not entirely sure whether it's going to get me flagged or what's going to happen. But I guess I'll try and pause it and chop it up into little bits so that it doesn't get flagged. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know whether these guys are going to have a problem with it, you know. Anyway, this is a video from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters. Now, I watch these guys on a regular basis. I almost watch all of their videos. And this one in particular made me so angry because I don't know whether you know what it's like in the UK at the moment, but it's increasingly becoming more authoritarian. And basically, the police in this country are taking more and more advantage of laws that they can be interpreted in certain ways, I guess, but the way that they're starting to interpret the laws nowadays is absolutely ridiculous. And I'll give you these examples shortly. So in this video, there's one of the presenters, Connor Tomlinson, and it's this chap down in the bottom right here. He's Connor Tomlinson. He's a reporter for LotusEaters.com. And he's talking to Harry Miller there. I think he's an ex-police officer, or he was in security of some kind. Anyway, he's up on the law. He understands what's going on. And what we're about to watch is Connor is in Birmingham city centre. He's outside the central library, the public library. And there's these people there talking about, I think it might be some kind of protest to do with trans rights, and there's some religious people there who don't agree with it, and I don't really get what's going on. I couldn't really see past the rage of what is going to happen. So I'm going to play a little bit of this. Hang on a second. I just need to make sure the audio source is actually running correctly so that you can hear it. I don't know whether we're going to be able to hear it, actually. For some reason, the audio source isn't working properly. Aha!
My question was, okay,
I bet you that's working now.
Do you believe that gay people are engaged?
There we are.
That's a personal view. I'm warning you now. Okay, that's discriminatory behaviour. Okay, that is on the cusp of a public order offence. If you use discriminatory behaviour or you start insulting other people's views again, then we will take action. Okay, I've given you the warning. That's it.
Look at him. Look at him in his impotent rage. These are the worst ones, the ones that come wagging the fucking finger in your face. These are the worst ones. Right, now we're going to go back a little bit because I want you to sort of see and hear what's actually going on and what leads up to him saying that what Connor is saying is hateful. Okay?
Right, said Fred. Thank you very much for that. What's on the conference?
An abomination and unnatural?
Well, having the TQ and the plus, there's nothing to do with sexuality.
So this is in Birmingham. This is
entirely
this is Birmingham city centre outside of the
okay, that's fine. Well, I'm here doing that, but that's totally
outside
fine.
of the public library.
The LGB is completely different. That's to do with sexuality. But the plus is the insidious part.
You see, that's it. You see what he said there? It's the plus that's the insidious part. And it's at that point that Mr. Waggy fucking hand fucking police officer comes up and he's like, now what you're saying is, oh, it's on the cusp, you know. It's, oh, you don't, he's not actually breaking the law. And he does point this out in his video here right now. He does point out that being on the cusp of breaking the law isn't actually breaking the law. It's like, oh, don't you do it again or I'll arrest you. It's like, what? Don't do what again? Not break the fucking law, because that's what I was doing in the first place. Do whatever. Is it like, you know, crime points. Is that what it is? You'll deduct a couple of crime points from me, and when I get to 0, that's when you're gonna arrest me. He's like, no, come on. If you're not causing an offence, you're not causing an offence. Don't warn me about anything, or you're getting close to, like you walking close past a shop door or something, and some copper comes up to you. He's like, hey, careful, you were nearly robbing something out of that shop then, or I could arrest you. Anyway, here we go. Watch. So it's the plus that's the insidious part, he says.
My question was, okay, I'll try again. Do you believe that gay people are engaging in unnatural activity?
You describing the plus as an insidious. That's a personal view. I'm warning you now.
That's a personal view. He says, that's a personal view. Yes, that's correct, Officer Plod. It's a fucking personal view. It's not a crime to offend someone. I could call you a wanker if I wanted to, right to your face. I couldn't do it on here because then I would be actually breaking the law. There's a law over here that says that you can't use electronic devices or broadcast systems and stuff like that to, cause undue offence. And even then, when they try to get you on that law, it's the same law that Count Dankula got done on. Basically, it was using an electronic device, an electronic broadcasting system to cause massive offence or to commit gross offence. And I guess, to some it might have been offensive, but you can turn off. I'm sorry, you can turn off. Anyway, a view, an opinion is not against the law. There's no rule saying that you're not allowed to say the word queer. Some people who are queer might turn around and say, if you're cisgendered, you're not allowed to say that word, and that's our word. And if you say it, we're offended. And it's like, okay, you can get offended by that, but you can't have me arrested over it. Because it's your feelings. If you don't like what someone has said, that is your feelings. And I feel like I'm harking on about all of the things that lots of other people have been saying recently anyway. Facts don't care about your feelings, I think is what Ben Shapiro likes to say. It doesn't matter whether I hurt your feelings or not. I didn't come up to you and threaten you with violence, for example. I didn't say that I was going to do something or make you perceive that you were in immediate danger of unlawful violence. And that's where the legislation comes in, because I'm going to switch to the legislation now. And so this is, in the UK, the Public Order Act of 1986. So under the legislation, it says the use of words or behaviour or display of written material. Number 1, a person who uses threatening words or behaviour or displays any written material which is threatening is guilty of an offence if he intends thereby to stir up religious hatred or hatred on the grounds of sexual orientation. How is what he said insidious? How is that interpreted by that police officer as threatening? His behaviour was quite normal, he was just standing there talking to the lady. I don't think he was being aggressive in any way. And the word itself wasn't preceded by any swearing, and you couldn't tell that there was any anger or malice in his voice or in his speech pattern. He just simply said that the plus is the insidious part. And Mr. PC Plod comes up to him, waving his fucking hand. Oi, listen, you nearly broke the law. You nearly broke the law. And if you do break the law, I'll arrest you. He's like, okay, yeah, of course. That's precisely what I want you to do. I would want you to do that with anybody. If they break the law, then arrest them and, take them down the station, but don't go walking around telling people, oh, you nearly did, you nearly could have, you be careful or I'll arrest you. Where do you think you get off? That's not how you should have been trained, and I'm going to guarantee that that is precisely how he was trained. Because who determines what is racial hatred? Who determines what is homophobic? And if we are going to make arbitrary sort of, rationalizations of what each of those things are, then I guess anybody can get arrested for anything nowadays. So there has to be, in legislation, clear-cut wording like this, because otherwise it can be interpreted. And that's precisely what this guy here is doing. He is not Connor Tomlinson. This police officer. I'm warning you now. Don't fucking warn me. Who the fuck do you think you are? PC plod. Who the fuck do you think you are? You don't walk up to people and say, oh, don't you break the law. I'm warning you now. Otherwise I'll... No, you won't. No, you won't. Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to sort of highlight this episode of Lotus Eaters. It made me incredibly angry just watching this dude try to pervert the law in this way and kind of say this is the way that the law is going at the moment. There are a lot of other laws within that Public Order Act that I've just shown you there, and things can be interpreted just as easily in whatever way you want. So that's why we have to have a judge who's sane, who, is not woke even in the slightest. We need someone who can make rational decisions and not emotional decisions. And hopefully that's where the justice system will prevail. So if you are thinking about helping out, maybe you should think about becoming an MP, or maybe you should think about becoming a magistrate, or because anyone can be a magistrate, literally anyone can be a magistrate. So if you are in the UK and you do want to sort of apply the law, then look into becoming a magistrate. But other than that, I don't think we're going to change anything in the short term, because these guys are just getting worse and worse, and they're recruiting new people all the time. There are people leaving the police service all the time because they won't stand up for the shit that they've got to actually do. And so people are leaving the police force and they're replacing them with, let's just say, a demographic that isn't me.